Buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. And as always, muchísimas gracias to everyone for you guys' words, prayers, for your amazing support and time. Gracias. Now, to continue a little bit on my story, and also continue with the topic that we somewhat touched on the live earlier. If did I see or know of Pilis, given the proper clecha when it came to all camaradas, right? So for this, as I mentioned before, I was being set to learn, right, of the goings and comings, the whereabouts in Mexico, because I had already, opened my mouth to man up to supporting and hitting down here. So again, I was mainly just, taking things in as much possible. But, one thing I want to say, shoe living, there was a lot of Pilis that actually took time out their program to give proper guidance, right? But at this time with the feds, mainly because everybody's trying to make their money or, looking for the head change. However, it was mainly like whatever. When things kick off, everyone was supposed to know, right? And a lot knew. For example, myself, I had been down quite a while already to know the rules of engagement, right? But anyways, on this yard, there was two young homies that they stayed to themselves, and not in that sense, but they came around, showed their respects, and they pushed on to do their program, right? Remember what I told you guys, that kind of do your thing till you're called for, put on those logs and just keep pushing forward, right? It's kind of what the homies were doing, and again, they were young, right? One was Creeper from North Hollywood Boys, the dark one, because I met a different one too, right? And the other one was Sporty from Clanton. And again, it was the first term. One got hit the face for dope, and the other one for a gun, right? I don't even know how that really works, but it had to do with that gun he got busted with carried federal time, right? Now, I don't really recall which one was what, but I remember those were the charges. But anyways, again, they were first termers, and they were being allowed to do whatever, They weren't really being looked at for the sense that they felt they were wet behind their ears and they couldn't really bring nothing interesting to at least these vatos, right? Dope or feria. If not, then they're aware you're there. They acknowledge you when something comes up. But other than that, it is what it is, right? And anyways, again, nobody on the yard was going out their way to school someone if they weren't going to benefit from it, right? The shoe maybe is because of the time that you're sitting back there. And of course, you start picking up some type of a better guidance, if you want to say it like that, right? Towards homies, camaradas. But anyways, you see these two homies had already been warned a few times because they like to take labs, and they like horror playing again. They were young homies, right, in their 20s. And, this had occurred shortly after all that little headaches with the Aztecas, right? And, just to keep it sincere, it's been real hard for me to get my head away from my anger, right? But back in these days, it was, if they stuck their tongue out at me, believe me, I was plotting 1,000 ways how to hurt you and get away with it, right? As to be sincere, I was always dwelling on it when it came to this Aztecas, just I wanted a gap open so I could run up in there and just get my money with one, right? You guys get what I'm trying to say, without having to make a big chaos like Ramfla against Ramfla trip, right? Because I knew if that would happen, that would have been my butt too. So I just wanted to get paid, right? Because I felt it was needed. But anyways, one day I'm sitting down with another camarada, right? Oh, Frankie from Orange County, as you guys recall, I've been talking about him, and we're just conversating, and Creeper and Sporty, they're walking the yard, and again, they've been already regulated a couple times behind horse playing, right? And just to keep it sincere, I didn't see no problem with it, right? Because it was amongst both of them, and I understood, it was basically trying to relieve your mind from the spot you're in, right? But I also understood that something minimum could uprise and cause a lot of people to get hurt. For example, this day, again, we're sitting down, Frankie, the homie from, I forgot what neighborhood in Whittier, Brown, or something like that, right? But he's there, and we're just kicking it, and these two homies, they're throwing little rocks at each other, right? And, you know, within the play, the horse playing, the homie Sporty missed Creeper, right? And it hit an Azteca that was like literally walking in front of him, right? And one thing about Sporty, right, from Clinton, that fool had a lot of heart, right? Just his mitts weren't where his heart was, right? Without talking out of place, right? Because he was a good homie. And the Azteca right away, he flexed up. Like what? And the homie right away is whatever, right? Take it as you want. So again, we're to ask questions later, right? And to be sincere, in my mind, I was giggling, right? Cause, well, I had what I needed and I had the opening. It's funny how when you're in that world, your mind could automatically put one and one together fast, right? To do bad. I wish the mind still functioned like that, but in a different direction now, right? But anyways, we stood up, and even though we had seen everything, that wasn't for questioning, right? At the end of the day, there's no one-on-ones. There's no jumping on camaradas because it was two and about four, if I'm not mistaken, Aztecas, and they all just started pushing back, right? So we weren't gonna allow our gente to get stomped. Besides all the blood that was there, right? Now, at the end of the day, it was all five of us with four of them, right? And, I'm not gonna get into details because you guys know I'm not gonna glorify on that, but, I got paid double, because also the vato that turned, a B and went at Sporty, again, the homie had a lot of heart, but he was getting mopped up sincerely, right? So, anyways, I got there, and again, I got paid, right? And at the end of the day, we went back there for mutual combat, right? It was nothing major, and the problem lied, like, for example, when time came for us to come back out, right? Of course, again, my schooling got interrupted, and again, at any time, I knew I was just waiting for that pitazo, right, to line up where I needed to end up at. But that wasn't the big case. The big case was that the Pili, was going to get a visit, and there was a touchdown supposed to hit that yard. And you guys know what that means, right? That means everybody's going to, get some vitamins for that bet now, right? So when he put a stop to it, you know, and that was her butt. Because I remember me and Frankie, as a matter of fact, were talking to the old man, and he asked us for our opinion. And this is exactly how it went down, right? He requested, we seen the whole thing, what action should be taken, who was at fault. And to be sincere, we try to cover up for the just being honest, right? Not mislead or lie to the big homie. It's just we knew where it was headed because of the standstill on the dope coming in. It didn't even have no meaning with us or anything that had happened. Of course, if it would have became something bigger, then no buts or ifs, we would have been all done with, right? Especially if big homies would have gotten rushed at, right? Because again, there was a lot more Aztecas by this time. And anyways, he basically just told me what I thought, and he just said, this vato flexed up, a la brava. The homie just held his ground, and once it was a go, it was a go. It's part of our guidelines, right? Where if we're closed, we're to no buts or ifs, vámonos a bailar. And he stated right away, that they had to be removed. So, the first one was Frankie, told him it wasn't that serious. That maybe a checada and making him go and take care of the next business. But nah, there was no changing the Billy's mind due to the stop to Jale, right? So unfortunately the homies got removed. Now when this happened, of course, I tried to speak up, but this is before they got hit. Even though we're right there, there was expectations from myself, Frankie, right? Frankie for when he hit Orange County, and you guys know dope meant a lot more than our career, I'll tell you that much. Because there was no buts or ifs on these vatos getting removed from the yard. But since we try to not question, but like try to plead for the homies, basically we got told, you guys were involved in that little incident, so just, find me the shooters and stay quiet. Si no, también van a pagar el pacto, right? So again, part of a lot of the things that happened, it was because the lack of backbone, right, that I as myself didn't have. So of course, calladito, right? And I seen the homies get hit, and they went their way. Down the line, I heard Joe from Orange County and another Billy, right, from West LA. They ended up clearing them, right, to the point where they gave him a chance, no more horsing around, and they were going to do cleanup. I didn't see it, right, but it's what got back to us, right? But you see, what I want to pinpoint in this is how easy it is, right? When we go in there thinking that we're actually doing something to have a meaning for this gente, that minute you come between that dope, their vein, and your career, you're done. There's no honesty there. This where individuals that this wasn't the second time, right? There already had been a couple of incidents with them. It should have been a flight, right? Should have been up and gone already. Two, three times, right? But again, they had a good blood coming in and out. So, I stayed quiet and within time, I just gotta ask, right? You did understand what happened, right? And I just said, yeah, Simone. In my head, I was thinking Dolphin, but at the same time, I have him well set, right, to do so. So I kept getting school, and I didn't know I was getting school to go down a tornado of things that, it fails short to what you hear and see, right? But again, I told you guys I'm gonna, get into detail a lot this time. But you see, it's that easy. If it wouldn't have been for Joe and that other Billy that gave him a pass, and I really think it had to do with the other Billy from West LA that was from both of these homies' neighborhoods, or however it was. He understood they were youngsters, whatever. You know, they didn't use, so they thought outside that they got to mine, right? And gave him that pass. That would have been it. Think about it. When you're giving up your life, that joy moments you do with family for this causa, and it's that easy for them to go out their way and put steel in you. Keep in mind, they're first termers, youngsters. Not one of them stepped up and said, I'm gonna take laps and give them clecha. They got given the reglas, the expectation if something happened with who, how, where. But other than that, they were to figure things out on their own. Up until the point it became a problem for their ego, right? Because anywhere else, it's untouchable. Especially with someone you're at war, at any time. But program and a head change means a lot more than what you're in there representing, right? For now with this, I'm not saying minimize it or do some winning stuff, excuse me. Just be smart, wise. Look forward to that smile you've been able to give a loved one that, believe me, it will have a ricochet effect positive way in your life. Not in a world where, unfortunately, it's not a well balanced world when it comes to us and those we give power to. But anyways, I'll keep it short with you guys on this one. I will continue on my story and on a profile, hopefully tomorrow. Again, thank you for the live, for those that could, for those that couldn't. I send my love, my prayers. Blessings always. Buenas noches. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones.